Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 23, part 2, trial 3. I appreciate you guys. I think maybe a couple of you have been watching as I've been doing these. I tried to just do the first time, and the internet connection was so bad. And then the second time, my little girl was everywhere, and I was everywhere, and it was failing. And so here we go, trial 3. You guys, so today I had part 1 of episode 23. And that was it was a little bit different. I had actually just arrived at a client meeting, and so I was right outside the client meeting, and it was very brief, but it was a challenge. Most client meetings that we have are at our own studio. And during these environments, we're able to control things. We're able to have the client surrounded with prints and albums, wine, all kinds of great opportunities. And in this situation, we didn't have that. So go ahead and take a look at part 1 because there's a few important things along the way that I did in regards to bringing prints, bringing albums, bringing that stuff with you. Anyhow, so part 2 is I wanted to come back to you guys now after the meeting and kind of explain a little bit about what happened because it was a really great meeting, but it could have tailspin fast. It could have been a terrible meeting. And that's just, it's something that it's been a challenge to overcome, and I want to unpack it for you guys. I want to talk about the beginning of the meeting and the end. One of the things that had always been really hard for me to overcome is when I go to sit down with a couple, I go to sit down with a client, and they want to get straight into numbers. They want to get straight into the contract, into the business. And they kind of rob you of the opportunity to learn about who they are, to provide that type of value to them. And so this couple in particular was like, they were very much down to business, right? Like I'm talking briefcases down to business, and they wanted to get straight to the facts. And so I just want to discuss the ways that I've learned to navigate that, how to get things kind of turned back around. And so one of the first things is I want to encourage you guys that you still have to validate it. You can't just try to like sidetrack it and push it to the corner because it's going to feel like you're trying to hide something. And so I let them say their piece and I acknowledged it and I thanked them. I said, you guys, we're going to get into every part of that. One of my number one goals is for you to feel fully informed on every aspect. But at the same time, you guys, I was like, we're going to unpack that in a minute. But look, I don't want to show up to your wedding as just a vendor, as just like the photographer photographing someone's wedding. I want to be Ben Hartley photographing so-and-so and so-and-so's wedding, right? And in order to do that, you guys, I have to know who you are. I have to have a connection. I have to be able to relate to you guys on a deeper level. And so if we can, I just want to almost pause and rewind. And I want to know more about you two. Like, tell me your story. And that part right there, you guys, is so important, is to give them an open-ended question, okay? I didn't say, tell me how you got engaged. I didn't say, tell me how you met. I said, tell me your story. And when you do that, you invite your client to talk about whatever it is that they actually care about, right? The story could be, oh my gosh, last week when I was getting my dress fitting. The story could be about the engagement shoot. The story could be about actually individually how one or the other grew up. Like, who knows? The only way to find out is to ask. And so the big thing is acknowledge that you're going to get to their questions. Don't try to like breeze it over like it's not important. Acknowledge that it's going to happen, but explain the fact that you don't just want to be some guy. You don't just want to be a vendor. That you're going to provide more value for them than just showing up and clicking a shutter. You have to set the stage with that in mind, and the only way to do that is to begin to invest in them as a couple, discover more about them along the way. And so that's the first thing. And from that point on, you guys, the whole meeting changed. Before it was like business, 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 and I was like sitting there like all rigid. And like a half hour in, we're just cracking up, we're laughing, like we're really having a good time. And that moment is the fundamental part to that. And so then I want to talk about the end, because this is another part that I really struggled with, was wrapping up a meeting. Because what tended to happen was we would have this really great exchange, and let's assume that they didn't book on the spot, right? And so what would happen is, you show them the numbers, you show them the pricing, you say, yeah, just let me know what you think. And they're like, oh yeah, this looks great. We're going to talk it over and we'll get back. And then you're like, okay, wonderful. You guys are great. And then you leave, right? This happens all the time. And I want to encourage you guys to keep the ball in your court, to not let that be the end of a meeting. And so when I say keep the ball in your court, there's a few strategies along the way. The first is one that I am a huge proponent of. It's actually give the client an incentive to connect with you. Give them an incentive to book out. Give them an incentive to reach out to you. And so to say, look, if you guys make a decision within the next 24 hours, by the end of the night, whatever that number is for you, I want to encourage you guys to not make it more than 24 hours. But if you make that decision within the next 24 hours, I want to give you guys a gift of an engagement session. I want to give you guys a gift of an extra hour or two of time, whatever that you would like to provide for them. And that incentive right there keeps the ball moving, and it keeps things moving forward in a very intentional way. And at the same time provides them an awesome value. So if you can do that, great. Here was the problem about my meeting today. There was no date set, right? So for me to say to make a decision in 24 hours, it's not realistic. And some of you listening right now, that might feel, even if they did have a date, too pushy. It might feel too much. And I understand that. I understand that you would feel that way. And so instead, you can still move the ball forward. You can still be really intentional with this time. And so for me, they didn't have a date, but I said, all right, essentially you need to outline exactly, step by step, date, even time of what's going to happen next. And so I said, okay, so this has been fantastic. I'm going to head back to the office and I'm going to shoot you an email with the dates that I currently have available in the month of whatever, as well as I'm going to outline all the view book that we looked over today. And then from there, you guys, when is an appropriate time where you're going to be able to look this over and connect with your venue to see if these dates lined up? Ask those questions. Get them to actually think about it and give you a response back. And so they said, it's reasonable to have this figured out by Friday. I said, perfect. I'm going to send this over. You guys look it over, discuss with your venue, and then Friday at 4:30, I'm going to give you a call and we're going to see what the next step is moving forward, because I'm so excited about your wedding. I don't want to see this date get missed. Okay? That is so much better than just saying, this is great, let's connect when you guys get things figured out, because what's going to happen is life gets in the way, right? What's going to happen is some other photographer is going to get in the way, right? Do you care about your business? Then please make this intentional decision to make sure that the very next step is clearly defined, okay? These things disappear, man. These things disappear, and you'll miss the couple if you let it slip. So I'm super excited. I sent them over the dates. I'm excited to connect with them on Friday to follow up with their venue and see what the next step is. When I go to follow up, guess what I'm going to do, you guys? I'm going to call them, because you should be getting on the damn phone. So call your couples. I can't wait. Yeah, I just wanted to say as well, thank you so much. Just for everyone who's listening, we've since recently moved this over to Six Figure Photography's page. It used to be on my personal. And so I just appreciate the 5 of you who are watching right now, the 4 now. It's all good. Some of you went to dinner. I just really appreciate you. I had a conversation with the people over at United, Show at United, on my drive home. And man, this industry is so positive. The people here are so encouraging. And I feel so blessed that I get to be a part of it and to try to provide you guys any value along the way. It really is an honor for me to do that. So thanks for giving me the opportunity. Please feel free to leave comments, questions, thoughts, ideas, little hearts or likes. It just encourages me and lets me know that I should keep doing these because I'm entirely doing them for you. This is a behind the scenes glimpse at what it's like to run a studio on the day to day. And so I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be coming at you guys live again. I'll probably be wearing the same thing, this blue collar shirt, because I'm in the middle of filming a video series for you guys. And so I've got to keep the same appearance the whole time through. I can't be switching outfits in between cuts. But anyhow, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And until then, cheers, you guys.